Hey everybody, it's a Time Hack Podcast. I'm Reid Schwartz, and we talk about how to make your business more efficient through using effective systems and artificial intelligence and tools, as well as virtual assistants. And today I want to introduce Jenna Eicholtz. Jenna, so you have a business helping people with logo design. Jenna, could you introduce yourself and share a little bit about how you got started in business and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so I've always really loved design. I've always been a creative person. I'm always doing crafts, hobby things. I love Joanna Gaines, so like even on that side, I just love everything creative. So I went to school for interactive and graphic design. Came out of school, started working at an agency. It was a pretty fast-paced industry agency. It kind of taught me like really quick how to do things quickly, but then also like where if we had more time, if we weren't such in a rush to get the next project done or the next project off, where we could have really made like an impact and made some things better for our clients. So moving into 2020, I decided I wanted to go out on my own and kind of start to do those things, the things that I learned from the agency, but take my time and really work with the client and really dig deep so that we can do some good brand storytelling, some brand strategy, like really dig deep into what their business could look like over the next 3 to 5 years. So I started doing that in 2020. I had no idea that COVID would hit 3 months later. It kind of shifted a little bit for me during that time. I do graphic design, so I do websites. I do some things like that. So it kind of shifted for me there. I started helping out the businesses that didn't have websites, that needed to start taking online orders, that type of stuff. So I started to kind of add that in. And then that's kind of just how I've become completely robust between doing the graphic design, the brand strategy, and the brand storytelling. It's just kind of from the background that I've developed. And COVID helped me develop a couple of new skills. And that's where I am today. I'm still helping the smaller businesses. I'm a very local person. I am trying to do a little bit of a further reach, but a lot of my clients are right here in my community because I do a lot of face-to-face things. COVID didn't change that for me. I still like to be face-to-face with people, and I still like to be able to, visit my clients' business. Yeah.
So you started in 2020 is when you started your own business in
Yes.
the middle of the fun COVID.
Yes.
That added some real challenges. So you like working with people in person. How did you deal with that through COVID?
Yeah, that was probably one of the hardest things. I always feed off other people's energy. I like to do things. So yeah, being in my house was not great. I probably drove my husband nuts because he knows that's not my type of personality either, to be sitting around and not doing much. But yeah, it was definitely challenging figuring out Zoom, figuring out what that looks like. Some of my clients aren't youngest of clients within the media world and social and technology. So figuring out those hurdles and how to help them to be like, hey, we have to start seeing our email more because we need those online orders, or we have to start, we have to figure out, if you don't have a camera on your computer, we got to get like a camera. You have to start seeing people through face-to-face meetings. That's the way it's going to be for the next, at the time, foreseeable future. We had no idea what was really going on, but it definitely changed a lot for some of those clients that needed to kind of update technology.
Yeah, that's always a challenge with, when we work in the technology like some of us do, sometimes we take it for granted, I think. And then you meet with other people and they know how to do Facebook and email, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, I would say in the past couple of years, everything's moving so quickly too with technology. It's quicker and quicker. There's new things coming out all the time. You can definitely see all the different people that need to update and stay on top of things. It's challenging to do. It's a full-time job in itself.
Yeah, I agree. So when you started off and your first start working with people, I kind of want to dig into the nuts and bolts. Sometimes we tend to talk in trade terms and stuff and these things. And if somebody has a small business, and I'm presuming you're working mostly with smaller businesses,
Yep, small
mom
and
and
medium
pop,
within my area. Yeah.
dozen employees type stuff.
Yeah.
So when you start working with somebody, what is the first thing that you approach them with as far as like a audit of their existing marketing and social media presence?
Yeah, that's typically where I start, is with an audit. If they don't have anything, then we can kind of start from scratch and look at like what it might look like to build a starting campaign for that type of stuff. But mainly I would go in, take a look at their marketing, what they're doing. Sometimes we look at budgets depending on how that person feels and kind of allocate, correctly. We're doing print, we're doing digital, we're doing social. Where can we allocate funds to that's going to be the, most efficient for that business? Because I still love print design, I still love mailers, I love digital, love website, but not all these marketing pieces need to be done for every business. So just figuring out, where it is best used for their type of business, whether it's a local business, if it's like a blue collar business, if it's a restaurant, food industry, they all kind of have their different areas of where marketing can be allocated differently.
Okay. And I assume like Google Business would be a large part of that for most businesses.
Yeah. Yep, especially locally. Yeah, especially the food industry and like blue collar trades like HVAC, plumbing, those types of things. Having a really good, strong Google business presence and those reviews and being able, actually, even, kind of going into AI, even being able to be searchable, within AI when people are asking ChatGPT, because people don't ask Google anymore. They go to ChatGPT and they'll say, I need, give me a list of the best 5 landscapers in, X area. And you want to make sure as a small business that you're showing up there before, the big guy does.
And what does it take? What do you do to help show up in, because we have search and then, yeah, like you said, AI, ChatGPT, there's all, Claude. I would presume, I think the majority of people, of average business people probably use ChatGPT. I think probably more people that are into AI are using the other tools.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely, a lot of people, there was a conversation that I saw through a thread the other day that people were just talking about how they find that ChatGPT's searches are more accurate, or they're easier to digest, they're easier to read, they're more of what they want. And Google, like, you have to do some work. You might have to click 3 or 4 links before you find something, where ChatGPT, it's a little bit more like, here it is, like, now you can dig a little deeper, but it's like, here are your 5 websites. You don't even have to worry about like Google figuring out which one of those websites, works and like clicking through the pages. So being able to show up, making sure that your keywords match, having a good strategy so that everything is consistent with your brand and your voice and your words and your messages across everything that you do is how you can essentially get yourself to show up there above other people.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people miss, is having that consistency across all the different media. So on the subject of ChatGPT and searching, so what's your thought on, when you go to Google, you search for something, you get 3 paid links, and then you get the organic. So at what point is ChatGPT giving us paid links, and will we know it?
Yeah, you know what? That is something. Yeah, we really don't know. Other than comparing them, I guess you could kind of compare that. But yeah, that's exactly what you said. You see so many paid ads. Sometimes the whole page 1 of Google is nothing but sponsored and paid ads. And depending on what I'm looking for, I'm a small business owner, so I like to support small businesses. I'm not even looking at that. I want to automatically skip those sponsored and paid ads, because if you can pay Google, you got enough money. You got a lot of money.
Yeah, but I've also found, ChatGPT can also miss stuff because it's only as good as what it finds on the internet. And I've had it recommend businesses that I know closed 2 years ago. But that's because they still have a presence on LinkedIn and Facebook, and people don't shut all their media down when they go out of business. They just walk away.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help any of us.
Or they share it, and sharing it can be hard. Like they'll be like, oh, well, we already had a Facebook page, so here you can just take the Facebook page and kind of change it, and that can make it really hard too, because there's still traces. Depending on how long that business was there before you decided to just take it over and they give you your email addresses, there's a lot of stuff out there from that previous business already. It's going to make it hard to erase if you're using the same platforms.
As you've built this business, so you've been doing this now, this is your 5th year?
Yes.
What tools have you found that we always build our businesses around usually a few key tools. So what have been the key tools that you've found for your business in helping people with building out their presence?
As far as building things out, I do like to use Canva. I do make sure that all of my clients have a Canva account. It is easy for social media for things. They can go in, they can make their own changes really quickly. So I do like to have them set up for that while I'm still making their profile and their dashboard, all their templates, all of that stuff. They are able to kind of go in and control it a little bit and understand a little bit, about their brand too. That's something that a lot of my clients like to do. They know that they can't do that because it's not their skill, but they still want to understand. And I'm the same way too. I always like to understand at least what somebody's doing for me if I can, even if I can't do it.
Okay, so Canva is a key tool.
Yeah.
And then as you've grown, are you still a one-woman show, or have you brought on a team to work with you?
Yeah, so I probably was on my own for about 2 years. And then I have decided, I was about I think it was towards the end of 2022 is when I decided I needed a little bit of help. I actually had a connection to somebody who had the virtual assistant, and it was still really new, the program that I was kind of in and the offerings that there were. So I decided to kind of give that a try, see what that looked like. I needed a lot of help with admin, reaching out to clients, following up with clients, being in the brand and design space. Having timelines and deadlines are great, and you always should have them, but there's so many times you're reaching out to the client like, hey, I need that picture. Hey, I still need you to approve this. We don't want to send it to print, those types of things. So just having somebody to really keep up with that, once I realized how much that was like eating away at my time, was really helpful. So I have decided to add somebody in that kind of helps take care of all of my back end stuff. So, I still am a one-woman show. She is with me and she kind of helps everything, but she's very behind the scenes, and a lot of people don't even, she kind of answers as me and works as me. So a lot of people don't even know she's there.
Okay, well, that was going to be one of my questions. I was going to say some people give their assistant or VA their own account and let them, represent you as your assistant, or answer your emails and do it as you. So that's the direction you take.
It is. Well, actually, it's something that I've been kind of contemplating this year as I am making some changes moving into 2026 with just some processes and policies and how things go. I have been debating on kind of introducing her as just somebody like, hey, we're growing in 2026. I now have some team members that you may be hearing from outside of, myself and my email. So that's something I've been thinking about, kind of, maybe giving her a little bit more of a role where people know that it's not just me anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's there's definitely some validity to that. It makes your business bigger. Your business is bigger,
Yep.
And so it's okay to honk your own horn and say, "Hey, I'm growing. It's not just me. I've got a team here. I've got help. I'm a bigger company, which is going to likely bring you some bigger clients."
Yeah, absolutely. And put a little bit more authority behind it and show. That's one of the things that had been hard getting started was being just a one-woman show, and knowing that I did have the avenue and resources to get things done, but I was still just showing myself as one person. So kind of moving into more of a business versus individual role when it comes to my business.
And so the name of your business, Behind the Logo. So Jenna is the woman behind the logo. So is there a story behind that business name, or can you share with that?
But really the biggest thing is some people, when I was kind of going through design school, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I have a brand, I have a logo. Okay, you have a logo. That's great. But what is behind that? Like what goes along with that business? Like, what is your strategy? What do you stand for? What are your morals? What's your story? How'd you get here? That type of stuff is what I look for. Like after I find the business, I'm like, all right, what's behind the business? So that's kind of where I came up with my name. Was I kind of wanted to get people out of saying, yeah, I have a brand because I have a logo. No, there's a lot more that goes into a brand beside that. So that's kind of where I came up with the name of what's behind your visual.
Okay, I like that. I like it. It's a very clear name that does explain who you are and what you do very well.
Yeah.
Now, you hired your first virtual assistant in 2022, you said?
Yeah. Yep. It was right around probably the fall by the time I got things started. I was one of those business owners that didn't have some things written down. So I had to get some processes and some stuff together as into what I even wanted this position to look like.
Right. And that's a big thing that I think a lot of people deal with is they're like, I know I'm really busy, but I don't know how to give it to somebody because I'm busy. How many business owners they're just busy all the time, which, I mean, that's part of the problem is not having systems for yourself, but then they're afraid to take on having an employee because what am I going to tell them to do?
Yeah.
So how did you come up with what those things were and a system for those, standard procedure for those tasks?
Yeah, so I went through a delegation exercise, something that I actually use now and share with people who are thinking about getting a virtual assistant. And kind of started figuring out what I was doing. And I looked at not only virtual assistant, but I also looked at AI. Like, here are the tasks that I'm doing. Here is how can I get help and what type of help? And I just started looking at everything. Moving into 2020, moving into 2023 was kind of part of like my business plan, like starting to figure out exactly what all I do and how can all these new AI things, how can they help? How can an assistant help? And I started basically figuring out my hour rate versus what I was spending on my time doing those tasks. By the time I wrote down like 3 tasks, and I had already accounted for like 15 to 20 hours of like my month with just 3 tasks. So I was like, okay, well, this is definitely going to show something if I'm only 3 tasks in and I know I got a lot more to go.
Yeah, I think that's a very common situation. People don't realize until you sit down and do an audit of your business and break down the different sections of your business. I mean, we all do marketing, we all have sales, we all have operations. And then what are those things you do within each of those areas and how much? I mean, I think most people, if you don't do a time audit of what you're actually spending your time on, you get up in the morning and you start work. And I don't know about you, but some of us finish 12 hours later. I'm much better at finishing in 8 to 10 nowadays. But I think that's a very common thing for self-employed. It's one of those things, I think people start their own business because they're like, hey, I don't want anybody telling me when I got to go to work and what I got to wear and what I got to do. Yep. And then you become self-employed and you find out that you still got to go to work and you still got to work normal hours. And you still got to present yourself properly.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just trying to figure it out. And then you don't realize that you're actually doing everything. You aren't just doing your job that you like to do. As you said, you now have marketing, you now have sales, you now have admin, you now have back end, you now are HR for yourself.
Well, it's like, have you read the book, The E-Myth?
Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
Yeah. And that's just exactly what that covers is so many people, they think, oh, I can do this job better than my boss than my company does. I can do it all. But they're the technician. They're not the salesperson or the administrator. And you have to have that whole package. But then, thank goodness for the days we are living in currently, because with the AI and good systems and then virtual assistants, it's just amazing what a one-person show can do nowadays.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things too, it's okay. I understand. I'm not good at sales. I understand sales, but I'm not good at sales. And it's okay to, say, I've tried. I've done some steps. I've done Sadler training and all that stuff. And I have a lot of knowledge. I'm just still not good at it. And it's okay to say that and find help and delegate to somebody who is good at it.
Well, yep. So how many virtual assistants do you have now?
So I do have one. She kind of actually splits between my business and then this year she started to help out a little bit on my husband's food truck business as far as just acquiring events and staying up to date on Facebook and stuff like that, which has been really helpful. But now we're in an area where our food truck does close for the winter months. So those tasks aren't really on her plate, but it was really helpful to kind of have her give a couple extra hours during that time and do that extra help. But I don't know if it was enough to have like a second one. But it is something that I would love to do in the future, as I do have some plans in the next year or two with kind of my business and where I'll be. So I guess while we're on the subject of VAs, what would be the next job you would hire someone for as a VA, for a VA? My VA now is really good at doing a lot of different things. I think I would just take a little bit off of her plate and have her a little more focused on sales, lead generation, and kind of follow up and email. And then I would kind of take some of those marketing pieces from her to give to another virtual assistant. And kind of ramp up marketing a little bit more, maybe have some video editing techniques, some websites. So more on the marketing and like design side is where I would see another VA, kind of just splitting up the tasks a little bit more.
That makes sense. That's yeah. I currently have two VAs, which are kind of split up like that. I have an executive assistant, and then I have a social media manager that handles most of the design and
yeah.
video editing.
I've been lucky with the girl that I have, is she kind of had the experience in both, and it's enough for me right now with just kind of growing and getting into the next step, the next couple of years for me. So it's been working out that she kind of has that skill set, but I know the tasks are going to grow, and it's going to be too much for the amount of time that, you know, she has me. I'm not trying to work her to death, but
Talked about virtual assistants, and you talked about kind of building some systems, and we touched on AI. So what AI tools outside of ChatGPT, are there any other AI tools that you are currently implementing in your business, and anything you're looking to experiment with in the near future?
I'm always on to like all different types of AI. I do use ChatGPT a lot. I use CapCut a lot. Their AI platform that they have in there has been fantastic. Trello is my project management, and the AI that is within Trello to help with project management and pinging things, that's been wonderful. And then I get those are probably, and Copy AI is another one that I've been starting to use for long form copy. So it's similar to ChatGPT. You can use Claude, Perplexity. There's another one or two. It kind of has all of them within it. But it really helps with like emails and newsletters and the longer form copy versus just like short little punchy social media things for like ChatGPT. So I've been working with that, and it's been good so far. I've been using it for a couple months, and I do really like the longer format, the more educational. I like educational pieces when it comes to that type of stuff. So the type of stuff that it's been doing is pretty good. So I like that for long form copy.
So you mentioned email. Do you do newsletters for your client?
I've been starting. It's something that I just kind of started maybe in September. I started doing one on LinkedIn too. So I'm still kind of new with it and kind of just testing some things out and seeing what that kind of looks like. I'm testing out MailChimp and Flowdesk. I know Flowdesk has a deal right now. I'm trying to potentially get into, if I really like it, that they're keeping their unlimited underneath the monthly subscription versus charging like Go High Level does. So I've been kind of going back and forth between MailChimp and Flowdesk to keep a nice cap on my email list as it grows.
Yeah, I use Kit, what used to be ConvertKit.
Yeah.
I've used MailChimp. I've used several others over the years. I kind of settled on Kit. Seems to have one of the higher deliverabilities for mailing software. So I've kind of stuck with it. And it seems my VA actually does most of that now.
Okay. So that's all. Yeah.
Between using AI, kind of like you were talking about, and then and she takes care of most of the formatting and stuff.
Yeah, another AI tool, actually, while we're on that, that I've been using is I do a lot of LinkedIn generation. I live on LinkedIn. That's kind of my platform of choice when it comes to like my top platform where I do look for the most leads. So I've been using a couple of different. Actually, I'm testing out Copilot AI. I've been doing a lot of outreach already with another AI platform called Expandy. And Copilot AI is supposed to kind of be my next step up to kind of get me a little bit further into what I've already been doing, which I think has been decently successful. So I'm really excited to kind of start out with Copilot and see what their next level takes on that AI system through LinkedIn.
Okay, I have not played with Copilot. Do you do very much video work?
Not really. It's something that's always been on my list. I just don't really like being on video. And I think the reason why it keeps getting pushed down my list too, I do like it and I enjoy it, but it's not my skill set. So it's definitely not something, editing the videos, doing stuff like that. I try to use CapCut and I do it for small things, but to, really, some of these content creators, some of these videos that I'm seeing, I'm like, I don't want to put out a video if it doesn't look like that. So.
Yeah. See, I do a lot of video, but my background is I actually owned a video production business 30 years ago when we were actually using VCRs and tape and all that. Phone does 500 times what my old $30,000 editing system.
Oh, I bet.
But the thing you have to remember with video is, because a lot of people say that they don't like the way they don't like the way they sound. That's because when we hear ourselves, we're hearing ourselves through the bone, not audibly. And we don't like the way we see ourselves. However, it's the way other people see us anyways. It doesn't really matter what they think. It's the content's what matters. That's it's that whole thing, better done than perfect. And so There's plenty of times I don't feel like being on camera, but I just do it. But back to the AI thing. So one of the things I've been playing with is HeyGen, which will make an avatar of you or another avatar.
Yeah.
And I started on it probably 3 months ago. And I mainly set it up. I played with it a little bit and I gave it to my VA and said, here, Hannah, learn this. You mentioned earlier how the technology is changing so fast. And at 3 months ago, it wasn't super great. It was good. It was neat. I mean, I don't have any hair. They made a video of me with like this little gray hair on top. Made my wife really go, oh my God, of me talking. I recorded a video myself, so it made an avatar of me with my voice. But I have to say, in 3 months, it has gone to being really close to photorealistic. To like, is that a person? And if you edit it, it used to be you just got a person standing there talking. And now it comes with templates set up where you can have the person talking. It'll change the angle of the camera, throw some B-roll in it. So, it's much more difficult to be convincing that you're a real person when you're just staring at the screen talking. But if you're just on there for 5 seconds and it jumps to something else, not so much. But it's amazing what it can do. And I started on that back then specifically because I was like, well, I want her and myself to know how to use it, because it's going to get, my favorite saying about AI is it'll never be as crappy as it is today.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. I'm having my VA, she's jumping on with me on all these co-pilot AI calls. I'm like, we're learning this together because it's new. I wouldn't expect anybody to know this or have this on their resume. So let's just dive in.
And so you mentioned Go High Level. You use Go High Level behind the scenes you use that for web design or websites for business?
Yeah, so I do it. I was using it more so for social funnels and webinar pages, building, kind of having all of that in one area. And then as a CRM, it is a really robust platform. I still think for what it is and what I use it for, there's so much more that I could probably be using it for. I just don't know how to, or if it is worth it for my business. There are probably things that are more beneficial for other businesses, but it is a very robust platform to handle a lot of different things for your business in one area.
Yeah. That's what I've been using that as well, and for some of those same functions. And it's pretty impressive, extremely flexible. All the different things you can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Jenna, is there anything else you'd like to share with people about your business? And number one, how to get a hold of you if they're looking for somebody to do work on the behind their logo. How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I mean, I am, like I said, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn, so you can just request me on LinkedIn, find me that way. My website's pretty easy, btlogo.com. You can also go to my website, fill out a request form. You can fill out, I have a book call link that you can also book a call with me just to chat for a quick 15 minutes. Even if you're looking for a little bit of advice. That's one of my favorite things. I love being educational. So I just love being able to talk through things with people. So maybe it's something that's on your mind and you've been thinking about. I'm always open to answering questions about anything.
Well, there we go. Well, thank you, Jenna. We appreciate your sharing information with people and being out there and giving back to the community, because that's what makes the world go round.
Yes, absolutely. It was great. Thank you.
All right, Jenna. Well, see you next time. So that's another wrap on this episode of the Time Hack Agent podcast. Here is the thing, though. You've just spent the last 20 or so minutes learning how to work smarter and not harder. But knowledge without action is just a form of entertainment. So my challenge to you is, what one task are you going to automate or delegate in the next 7 days? I want to hear about it. Let me know. Send me something. Put a comment down there. Because here's the truth. Time is limited. It's your most valuable asset. You can't buy it back. When it's gone, it's gone. So if you want to know what it feels like to grow and have time for strategy and friends and family, go ahead and take your browser right over to Time Hack V, where you can schedule a discover call with our partners, Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants. Sphere Rocket has placed over 10,000 VAs with business owners across the country and around the world. And they will show you how they work and how they can find the right VA for you and your business. So go to timehackva.com and schedule that appointment, and you will not be disappointed. Start buying back some of your time. See what you can do with an extra 10, 20, 30 hours a week with your life and your business and how that can make a difference. All right, don't wait. Visit timehackva.com. So until next time, keep hacking your time, not your sanity.